All right, now let's talk money. Let's talk savings. Let's talk 1 million naira savings in a year. How does that sound to you? Too ambiguous? Is it easy to save? What do you think? For a lot of people, this amount sounds like it's a lot. It sounds like an ambitious amount that you would never think of saving, considering your economic status, considering the struggle you're going through, the bills you have to pay, and all of that. But what if I tell you that 1 million naira in your current situation is not as huge and perfect as you might think from what you already do? If you have a 150,000 naira monthly salary, you should be able to pull off saving 1 million naira in a year or 2 years, within 6 months, in fact, for those that are in 600 naira salary scale. If you want to get to savings goal of 1 million naira in a year per month, that is around 83,500. Think about it. Per day, that is around 2,750 naira. That is money you use for casual lunch, buying drinks, doing something, buying data, sending urgent 2K and all of that. So what are you doing right now to think about how you're going to get to your goal of saving 1 million naira in a year? In this video, we are going to cover the step-by-step guide on how you can pull off your 1 million naira without having to go through the stress of thinking about how you're going to put it up. The right structures, real scenario analysis, and everything that you need to put in place to make sure that that happens. Not a vague plan, a real plan, a consistent plan that you have to go through with to make sure that you pull this off. The reason why you're not getting there are a lot of assumptions that are in our heads, right? One of the primary assumptions is that for you to be able to save, you need to earn a lot of money for you to be able to save. From a research from Frontiers Behavioural Economics in 2004, it shows that a lot of people that plans to save money do not meet up with their target right from the onset. And why is that? It is primarily because a lot of people have ambiguous plans. Yes, I want to save 1 million naira this year, so help me God. There is no plan, there is no designated account to keep that money, there is no timeline, there is no monthly structures, nothing. There is another study from Georgetown University about financial mindfulness. It says that a lot of people that are financially mindful and aware of their financial situations are less likely to deviate away from their savings plan because they know what they can and cannot do. That is a very key thing to understand in your journey to become a better person in saving. Now, while we're diving into what it entails, the frameworks and structures that you need to make up your first 1 million naira, I want you to have something in mind. And this mindset shift are three. The first of which is stop trying to save money. Rather, you become somebody who saves money. If you're somebody that tries to save money, it's a behavior that you have to keep up with and you have to put in a lot of effort to maintain it. And so when you have one single bad month where you're not able to keep up with your savings plan, or you're not able to be motivated enough to save, then you derail and you get demotivated. And then you might fall back to zero, spending that money that you already saved. But if you identify yourself as somebody that saves money, it may just be that month where you're unable to meet up with your target, but you're able to still pull off savings and you're just going to commit and balance it back later. That psychological shift is what differentiates you from a lot of people that gets to fall back to zero and have to start all over again. The second mindset shift that I want us to have is separating savings from not spending. A lot of people say they would save when they have something left from their spending, but that's not how it works. Because like I mentioned in my last video, lifestyle inflation is a huge thing. As your income increases, your expenses and bills increases, and you may not likely have enough to save. But when you decide to save before you spend, then you have positioned yourself and created that mindset shift that this is also equally important as the expenses. Because when you save, it creates a habit of paying yourself first. Paying yourself first and applying consistency is the foundational structure that you need to position yourself as a saver. The third one is celebrate milestones, not just the destination. A lot of the times when people give themselves targets, you want to save 20 million, you want to save a million, you want to save 100 million, whatever your category is, in between you need to ensure that you celebrate the journey. 10 million naira is a long journey to achieve for most people. 1 million is a long journey for most people. How about in your journey to saving 1 million naira at the end of the year, you celebrate your first 50,000 naira. You celebrate your first 200,000 naira milestone, your 500,000 naira milestone, your 800,000 naira milestone, and eventually your 1 million naira milestone. If you don't do this, you tend to get demotivated from the ultimate goal, which is the destination of 1 million naira. So why not give yourself a treat? Go out, take drinks, but don't use the money you've saved. Now, let's quickly discuss the psychology of saving money, right? I'm going to be talking about a 3-account system that you need to pull off your savings goal and the psychology about it. There's a research about mental accounting by Richard Thaler, a Nobel Prize economist, that reveals that money that you set aside for a particular task is very, very difficult for you to spend on any other thing apart from that particular purpose that you set it aside for. The level changes the psychology, and the psychology changes the behavior. So money for groceries is money for groceries, money for housing and rent is money for housing and rent, money for car maintenance is money for car maintenance if there is an account like that. Your active savings account is your active savings account, and investment account or money goes into an investment account is for your investments. So here's the 3-account system that I would recommend for you having that in mind. The first of which is the emergency buffer account. This account is where you save in 3 to 6 months cost of your expenses. So if you know that for the next 3 to 6 months, you would need an average of $1,000 or 600,000 or 1 million naira, save 1 million naira. The emergency fund is your financial immune system that helps you fight any form of emergencies, any form of unplanned expense and extravagant expense that you may need that you didn't plan for. That account is what takes care of it. The second of which is your active savings account. Your active savings account is where you put in your monthly contributions or weekly contributions to meet up with your target of your savings goal. That is where you put in all your money. Now, this account is where you automate from your perhaps salary account to your savings account, and most ideally, it's recommended that you do it on your payday or maybe the next day after your payday to make sure that you take off the stress of deciding whether to put money there or not. It's your vehicle to drive your goal of your saving. So if you intend to save 1 million naira, as in this video, you should be able to continue to save and automate your savings in your active savings account. The third one is your investment account. Your investment account is the actively compounding account where all money you put in there works for you, goes beyond just savings. It works for you. This is money that can be invested in the money market, mutual funds, treasury bills, commercial papers, and all of that for you to be able to pull off your huge, ambitious milestone of saving 1 million naira. For most people, like I said, it's a long journey. Instead of starting at 1 million naira at the end of 12 months, why not break it down to make it easier for you to move towards that target? So what am I saying? The first milestone for you should be 50,000 naira for the first 2 months, right? Month 1, month 2. That 50,000 naira is your emergency buffer. It proves that you can do this. Open up a savings account and put it there. Over time, you can save that. And I'm going to show you for the breakdown. The second milestone should be 200,000 naira. That is from month 2 to month 5. You're able to pull off 200,000 naira. That's the real momentum. That is what makes you feel like this is actually possible. And your financial anxiety begins to drop at 200,000 naira. At 500,000 naira, month 5 to 9, this is halfway your mark. And at this point, you are already feeling like an investor, a serious investor. You see that this is possible and you can pull it off. And then comes the 1 million naira. At this point, you've reached your full target, months 9 to 12. 12 months of consistent actions have finally paid off. You're now in the top tier financially disciplined persons in Nigeria. And you feel you can do this even more because you're able to achieve your target. You would notice that the first milestone is not 100K or 150,000 or what. It is 50,000 naira. That is because beyond the amount, the idea that you can prove this to yourself means a lot more in this strategy and this framework than the amount in itself. So that is why we choose 50,000 Naira. It's a proof of concept that you can actually do it. Behavioral research shows that the act of making the first deposit, regardless of the amount, is the single most predictive factor in whether or not somebody can be consistent in continuing to save or not. So let's look at some of the income scenarios, right? I'm going to look at from 150,000 to 300,000 to 600,000. These numbers are monthly tax adjusted numbers, and you can adjust proportionally to your actual income, right? So for scenario one, we're looking at 150,000 Naira per month at what? 10% of your total salary income in a month, which is like what? 15,000 Naira. You put that in your emergency buffer. You put another 6.7% in your savings account and another 5.3% in your investment account, a money market investment account. So yeah, guys, I walked you through the framework and infrastructure on how to get to your first savings. There are 4 different saboteurs that would happen if you are not conversant of them and prepare yourself against them. The first one is emergency rationalization. This is when life happens. This is when something just unexpected comes up, an expense, a cost, a car, a medical bill, the money in your account just seems available to spend. But that is not what we're trying to do here. What we're trying to do is to protect you from spending your savings into an emergency occurrence. Earlier, when we were talking about the 3 account system that you need to develop, we're saying that we want to have a savings account that gives us a leeway to get to our savings goal. But I was still talking about emergency buffer account and investment account. This is the reason. You need to have an emergency buffer account for emergency happenings in life, because life will definitely happen. Those medical bills that will come unexpected, those travels that will have to come, once in a while, and those bills and groceries that you need to take care of are not supposed to come from your savings account. They are meant to be taken care of by your buffer so that you're able to achieve your savings. And the fix is simple, not negotiable. Just create, as much as you're creating a savings account, you're also creating an emergency fund account, and you put a certain percentage there, as well as putting a certain percentage in your savings account. What that does for you is anytime you have any of these crises, any contingent spending, you're not going to your savings account. You do not have to touch your savings account. You're going straight to your emergency fund account because you've been preparing for this day before it came. The second one is social pressure. And this is really for the young ones, for those that want to be part of their peers. And so the social pressure also come in play a lot of the time. Parties, this is just once in a while and it's done. All of those things get to your head. Our YOLO system, you only live once, so why not just party up and do all of these things? And you feel like, everybody is going, why not join? That is a killer. You believe people are following you. That's the truth. As much as you have your savings account, your emergency fund account, so why not have a separate account that you're earmarking for social activities? And once that money finishes, that is the end of your social activities for that month. The limit is not social, the limit is financial. You need to put a boundary to it. The third is the comparison trap. The comparison trap. We all are almost guilty of this, whether young or old. My friend just got a new car, he just got a new house, did this, just went to this trip. I can afford it, why can't I just join them? Because as humans, it's natural for us to see others and just be jealous and just compare ourselves with them, particularly when we know we can actually do it, but choose not to. So that psychology of choosing not to, as against what your friends are doing out there, is demotivating sometimes. And that demotivation can lead you to fall into a trap that takes you back to zero. So what do? You know your net worth at all times. When I say at all times, monthly, quarterly, biannually, or yearly, you know your net worth. That is a motivating factor. There are people out there that uses the most basic cars and even the smallest cars, but their wealth is way beyond somebody who is using the most expensive luxurious cars out there, right? So that idea of my net worth, basic asset minus liability, what is in your account? What is in your investments? What are those things? What are those businesses that you have that when you look back at, you know that you have a solid foundation, you have a solid backbone that can hold you in case of any emergency when life happens. or when you decide to live free. But can you say that for your friends? Because when you go deep into the back end for your friends, it may not be the same. They might be partying up, buying the most expensive luxury cars, going to the most fanciest restaurants and all of that, but their finances are nothing to write home about. They might be running in debt, they might be doing a lot of things that may not really, put them in a position where they can say they're happy in the longer run. And the last one, which is the fourth one, is all or nothing month. Oof. Again, human psychology, all or nothing. You set up a target to meet 100,000 this month. And unfortunately for you, due to one or two things, life happens, you're not able to pull off 100,000. Perhaps you stop at 70,000 or maybe 60,000. You're having a deficiency of 40,000. Well, maybe because I'm not able to meet up with 100,000, I might as well just take the rest of the money and spend it and start all over again. But no, that takes you back. That brings you back to zero. The rule that I want you to adopt is simple. Make sure no month account for zero savings. I don't care what happens. Whether you have an emergency medical bills or you have a contingency, whatever it is, make sure, no matter how little, whether 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000, put it back in there. It's not more about the amounts that you deposit, but more about how you continue without stopping, no matter what happens over the way, right? So this is what it's all about, and this is the 4 main saboteurs and how you can protect yourself against them when and if they occur. And I want you to understand that. Let's move on to the recap of all of this, right? Your 7-day savings launch plan. On day 1, calculate your exact monthly take home after tax and everything. What are the real numbers? Not an estimate, your real numbers, particularly for the salary earners. You know what you earn. For the business people, you can estimate based on past records. What exactly is your monthly take home? 2, on day 2, you should open a dedicated savings account, particularly for this goal that you're about to make. You can target anything, whatever it is. You can just have it in part of your bank account or whatever it is. Just put it somewhere that you know that this money is for your future 1 million Naira goal, right? 3rd is calculate your savings target based on your monthly income. Now, you know your exact monthly income. You've created a savings account. You calculate your savings target based on your current monthly income. We discussed the scenario-based one, right? Use that to calculate how much can you realistically save every month without having to stress yourself too much. Calculate that. Open a money market account on any of these apps, Cowrywise, Pocket App, Bamboo, whatever it is. Just create a money market account and also keep that aside. Now you have a target of even saving at least, even if it's 5,000 or 10,000 in that money market account. Set up an automatic transfer, give a standing order at your bank. Please always remit 5,000, 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000, whatever the amount is, to account 1 or account 2, account 3, depending on your standing order, depending on your request. You do that and automate those processes. Once you're able to do that, identify your biggest spending leak, categories where your money disappears without you having to give proper account of them, and set up a monthly cap for that category. So we talked about this: unexpected expenses, emergency funds, partying and all. Know the limits. Take care of that, but know the limits. If you usually spend crazy amounts of money, put a cap to it, and once it gets to that, you're done. And the last but not the least is write your goal publicly. Research also shows that publicly putting yourself accountable to something always puts you in that position where you have to abide by it and keep up to it, because you do not want to be shamed, you don't want to be embarrassed, and you end up trying to pull that through or see that through so that you would have a positive outcome, rather than making people feel like you cannot actually pull off what you said you want to do. For example, you can put it in the comment of this video and say, I am trying to save 50,000 Naira in 2 months. Or I'm trying to save 500,000 Naira in 6 months. And we are going to follow through to make sure that you actually pull that off, because I can personally chat you up and say, Alpha, have you been able to do that or not? So all of this really matter over time, and this is what I have for you today. I hope this video really helps you, and I hope you're able to pull out all of these plans. For whatever you need, you can easily put a comment and ask a question, and we're happy to respond. So by next week, when you're coming up, you have an account dedicated for your savings, you have a target, you've set up your automatic transfers and all, and then you can start. All of the systems and structures are in place. Nothing else is going to stop you. You can start, and let's see how this journey goes for both of us. See you in the next one.